Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Europa Barbarorum II. It's a mod for Medieval 2 Total War that at the moment is taking a little long to load up. There we go, there's the wonderful intro cutscene thing. Europa Barbarorum II is a total conversion mod for Medieval 2 Total War. It sets the game in essentially the original time period of Rome Total War. It's, it starts in the 270s BC in the classical period. It is possibly one of the most legendary Total War mods of all time. It's called EB2 because the EB1 was a mod for Rome Total War, which was all about historical accuracy to the nth degree. The mod team included actual university professors who studied the relevant subjects to the time period. And the sheer quantity of historical information and stuff contained within these mods is ludicrous. It is an education playing this. It's also possibly, I think probably the most polished Medieval 2 mod. In fact, most polished Total War mod I've ever played in my life. It feels like you're playing a completely new game. It doesn't even feel like Medieval 2 anymore. It's kind of amazing. Everything from the intro cinematics to the animated menu to the soundtrack to the fact that all the units, this is really unusual for a Total War mod, all of the units have brand new voice acting in their original languages as well. The Romans speak Latin, the Greeks speak Greek, so on and so forth. It's just friggin' amazing, this mod. I've been saving it for quite a while. I've been wanting to do a showcase of it, but I just, save the best till last and all that, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to run up a couple of campaigns. What we're going to do is I'm going to start a brand new campaign as a faction and play that for a handful of turns. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up an existing campaign I've already been playing for a while so I can show you a few additional features. More polished than Steam and Steel. Sarcasm, yes. More polished than Steam and Steel. Yeah. So, I'm going to go single player. I'm going to go grand campaign. These are all the factions available. Every single one of these factions has a ludicrous amount of work and effort put into it. And you can't often say this about a Total War campaign, but you can about this mod. Every single faction here is absolutely worth playing. You are so ridiculously spoiled for choice in terms of really detailed, enjoyable campaign experiences here. Every single one of these factions is worth your time. Quite often with a lot of mods, you'll have maybe a third of the factions are good and then 2/3 are kind of filler. Not the case here. The factions available are, of course, Rome, the Roman Republic in 272 BC. This is kind of recommended as your first faction you should play in the mod. You've got Carthage. You've got Macedon. You've got Epirus. We've got the Greek city-states. We've got the Seleucid Empire. We've got the Ptolemies in Egypt. We've got Bactria. We've got Armenia. We've got Pontus. We've got the Parthians, the purple pajama men of Rome Total War fame, although they aren't wearing purple pajamas in this mod because it's historically accurate out the wazoo. You've got the Aedui, which is a big Gallic confederation. You've got the Arverni, which was another big Gallic confederation. We've got the Pritanoi, the Britons, located, surprisingly enough, in Britain. You've got the Lusitanians over in Hispania. You've got the Suabos, I don't know, I can't even begin to guess how you pronounce that. The Swabians, basically, over in Germania. You've got the Getae over in Dacia. You've got the Saba all the way down in the southern tip of Arabia to play as if you want to. The Romans actually tried to conquer them, I think, once upon a time. The Romans did actually send us a few expeditions into Arabia, and very few of them returned. You got the Sakarauka all the way up in the top right corner of the map in Central Asia. They're a nomadic peoples with lots and lots of horse archers and some really cool cataphracts. You got the Sauromatai, the Sarmatians essentially, which are a similar sort of faction located out there on the modern day Russo-Ukrainian steppe. You've also got the Massilians over in kind of Numidia, that sort of area of North Africa, next door to the Carthaginians. You've got Pergamon, the city-state of Pergamon. You've got Taxahila, which is a vassal state of the Mauryan Indian Empire, which starts out right on the edge of the map there. I've been meaning to play as these guys, actually, for a while, because they're one of the factions that's in EB2 that wasn't in EB1. And they're kind of their unit roster and everything is just gorgeous. You've got the Legiones, which are located way out there in what's modern-day Poland. Their difficulty is rated as nigh impossible, apparently. I've never tried playing as these guys, but I bet it's entertaining. You've also got the Cimmerian Bosphorus Kingdom. There's a kingdom of Greek colonists based in the Black Sea region. You've got the Aruekoi, which are based over in modern-day Spain. You've got the Boioi. There's no version of this tribe's name. In Latin, it's Boi. In Celtic, it's Boioi. Yeah, fucking weird name faction, but anyway, they're out there as well. And you've got the Nabateans. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but they're the Nabateans, located down there between the sandwiched in between the Seleucids and the Ptolemies, and they have quite a challenging campaign, as it says here. Great Goop God, thanks for the Prime sub, by the way. Anyway, and as I said, every single one of these factions is 100% worth your time. Today I'm going to play as the Pritanoi for a little bit, and then, as I said, we'll load up another campaign I've been doing a little bit later on as Rome to show you some additional features. But I would like to play as the Pritanoi because Europa Barbarorum as a project originally started essentially because the guys who started the mod, they played vanilla Rome Total War, and they were like kind of shocked and appalled at how badly portrayed the barbarian factions are in the game. And they were like, we're fucking making a mod to fix this, and they called it Europa Barbarorum, hence the name. So I'd like to go back to the mod's roots and play as a barbarian faction to show the game off initially, and then we'll switch to the Romans later. So we're going to play as the Britons. I also have a bit of a sentimental attachment to this faction because when I was a kid, a bunch of historical reenactors came to my school and I got to dress up and be an ancient Briton for a couple of days. I carried a spear around with me, I had a little shield. I got to be an ancient Celt for like a day or two and it was awesome. I loved it. We didn't have any chariots, but the Britons in this certainly do. There's buckets and buckets of historical text here that I'm not going to read through because we'll be here all day if I do that. Put the campaign rules on short, medium difficulty, because I think that's what the mod's balanced for, and boosh! And we should get, yes, a lovely intro cutscene, because EB2 has intro cutscenes. Of course it does. Like I said, it's the most polished Total War mod that's ever been made. The dudes on the chariots. Stood on a replica British chariot, actually, at the Norwich Castle Museum. They're a lot smaller than you'd think they are, those things. We've been playing as the Bosporan Kingdom recently and got quite interesting having good archers and stout hoplites. And by interesting, you mean bloody powerful. Yeah. I really want to try out the Taxahelians, the Indians, with their war elephants and their big chariots and their longbowmen. They look like they're pretty fun. Like Indian longbows that are like tall as a man, taller in fact. And they in order to fire them, they'd actually have to brace them against the ground and draw the arrow back and whatnot. Dudes are standing on their horses. They weren't standing on the horses, they're standing on the yoke bar in between the two horses at the front, which is something that, according to the Romans and Julius Caesar, they did. They were able to balance on there to adjust the reins and whatnot while the chariots were still moving. The riders were incredibly, stupidly agile and well practiced at what they did. Ad break in progress. Oh, fucking brilliant timing there, Twitch chat. Sorry, not Twitch chat, Twitch. Loves to do that. Loves to drop an ad break on you right at the most inopportune moment. It's like they have an algorithm that detects exactly when the worst time to drop an ad break would be. Anyway. The Greeks got into Troy by trying. Everything's done by trying. Theocritus. Apparently quite a wise fellow, Theocritus, because I would agree with that assessment. Alrighty then. Alright, successor system, that's fine, get rid of that. Alliance announced the Greeks and the Ptolemies. Alliance announced between the Aedui and the Arverni. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, a little one-province miner, the Pritanoi. It's our itty-bitty little faction. And yes, our little units, they'll actually speak in Celtic. Or the best interpretation of ancient Celtic we can probably come up with in the modern day. So we have Maidenon. That's our capital and only town. We actually do control Stonehenge. We've got it via this little wander outpost here. If we go to the town, there you go. Stonehenge, along with a little bit of historical info about it. Every province in this game has a province info tab thing here, which tells you about what that part of the world is like. It's like a little travelogue of that region of the world. This mod is going to be one of the most immersive Total War mods I've ever played. It's like going on a little trip through the ancient world, because you have this wonderful info here. Every building and unit has like a detailed description which tells you about the history and stuff like that. You can learn so much just by playing this. And crucially as well, this mod has loads of interesting stuff if you're someone who's into your role-playing. Because it has loads of interesting role-playing mechanics, some of which I can try and show you here. For example, where's our king? He's the heir. Tigernos Vidagnos. Here we go. This guy, he's our king. He's got authority 2 at the moment, which is not very good because he's an untested leader. He's never been in a battle, even though he's faction leader. He's man-grown, he's a veteran, he's a good tactician, talented leader, stern, devout. He's a King Etos, which means that he's succeeded in his warrior training and proven himself a true King Etos and a full-grown man in the eyes of his folk. He's eligible for druidic training. The quarry of men, on the whole, produces little but rock. Occasionally, beings of greater strength, like iron ore, are brought to the face, and every once in a while a stone is uncovered which reveals the precious luster of wisdom. It is these traits which have led to this man being selected from among his kin to begin the arduous training of joining the ranks of the druids, the wise men who preserve the histories and knowledge of our folk. In order to begin his training as a druid, this man should rest for at least 5 turns inside a settlement with a direct factional government like a confederation, because there are government types in this game, and at least a level 1 school. Once those conditions are met, he should simply wait for his training to begin and end, though how well he will fare in this training remains to be seen. Marvelous stuff. So characters can be educated in a variety of ways if they've got the mustard, if they've got the right stuff to do it. Celtic barbarian characters, when they come of age as well, like you can do different things with them. You shouldn't put them in charge of a city or an army immediately. They have to go out and adventure into the world and stuff. They can become mercenaries. They can go raiding and that sort of thing, and then they can kind of earn their right to be recognized as a man of the tribe, at which point they can actually start embracing some more important responsibilities. Those mines, silver mines, interesting. We should have tin deposits around here somewhere. I'm pretty sure this is tin country, right? Lead, yeah. The Pritanoi basically made a lot of money by exporting tin, which was used to make bronze, obviously, overseas, because they traded with the Greeks and the Carthaginians. So we got... Let's get you guys out of here. Let's get you guys to meet up there. Margarix, not to be confused with Magarix of YouTube fame. He's going to sit in our town for a little bit. He's age 40. He's actually our oldest character, I believe. If we look at the family tree here. Our current king, Tigernos Bidagnos here, he's actually the youngest of 3 brothers. Margarix is the eldest. Magalos is the second oldest. He's the middle child at age 30. He's the heir. And Tigernos, age 24, is the current faction leader. Because I believe their kings were selected by a vote. It wasn't like a primogeniture thing. Hereditary type deal. However, his eldest brother, Margarix, is actually not very loyal. Only 3 loyalty, which could cause us some issues. Let's see, what's he like? He's a grizzled veteran, it looks like. Middle-aged, honest to the gods, skilled bureaucrat. All the more reason to put him in a town, I think. He's a trader. Epas, what does that mean? No more is the King Etos. With hooves of thunder atop a beautiful beast he rides. Now an Epas, a knight among his people. He commands respect, which only a few years prior would have been unthought of. So yeah. He's sharp, charismatic, and vigorous. And he's unselfish but pessimistic. He's also a night fighter. as confident troops. And Beltane, or Beltane or whatever, that tells you what the current season is, because we have 4 turns per year in EB2, and it's currently spring. And it even tells you what that season means to the faction you're playing. It says the Celts divide their year into 2 separate seasons, summer and winter. Summer includes the months Guillamon, Simuid, oh my god, I don't know, pronounce half this stuff. There's no fall or spring, but in the middle of summer, the Celtic people celebrate the summer solstice, which divides the season in 2 parts. The first part of the summer is regarded as the dark summer, as it is a period of rebirth, but also represents periods of ritual war that have the dual nature of introducing dark death concepts, so on and so forth. I very much, when I started the Rome 2 series on YouTube, I was this close to playing EB2 instead. I think I went for Rome 2 in the end just because I felt like it would have a bigger audience because it's a more recent game, but I was super, super close to playing EB2 instead. What's that background music? It's just the game's background music. The EB2 has its own unique soundtrack. It has a full soundtrack, battle music, campaign music, the lot, and it's all very much based on the ancient cultures that it represents. Like, the different cultures have their own unique music, and usually when possible, the creators of the mod, they used the kind of instruments that those cultures would have used back then. So the barbarian factions have a lot of kind of like funny woodwind type didgeridoo type stuff going on. The soundtracks vary like quite massively between the different factions you can play in the game. I personally really like the nomadic ones, like the Sakarauka and the Saramate. They have some really nice soundtrack stuff going on, particularly on the campaign map. So we've got a spy. We've got our neighbors here, the Trinovantes, we're at war with. These are all rebel factions, and EB treats rebel factions kind of interestingly because it treats them as almost as if they are miniature factions. They usually start with large armies, and they are named in brackets. You've got the Trinovantes there, you've got the Danones up there as well. And they're typically quite difficult to conquer. The EB2 is a very slow-paced mod. This is a great mod for you to play if you enjoy a more chilled-out, slow-paced Total War experience, because that's how it's designed to be played. It's got a big focus on role-playing and historical accuracy and taking the game slowly versus your more modern Total War experience, which is very much fast-paced and very different. We're probably going to fight these guys first, I reckon. The main thing is we need to fight them anyway because our king is untested at the moment. He needs to win a battle or two in order to prove himself to the tribe, I think. He's got in his retinue a charioteer and a druid, apparently. The guy with him is elder brother Magalos Seixtantios. He's very loyal. He's got an aged retainer, an elderly spinster aunt. He's mature, he's blooded, he's a Briton. He's a bureaucrat, stern, devout, occasional drinker. Uatis, what does that mean? Ah, this guy has been studying as a druid. After 5 years of study in the company of elders, this man has attained the rank of Uatis, or soothsayer. When the entrails of a beast or man are pulled from its belly, it is he who interprets them, reading the will of the gods through a bloodied script. This in itself makes him a revered person among his kin, but should he wish to become a full druid, then a further 15 years of study, recitation, and divination awaits. Cool. I don't think we actually can do that right now. If I go to our town here, among the buildings we can build, I think, is a Altron Uaglonmens, a fostering of learning. So this is a school type building, essentially. We need to build this if we want to train anybody as a druid. I would think I would quite like to train our king as a druid. At least a little bit. Not like as a full druid, maybe, but kind of like his brother. Like he can get a little bit of druidic training in there. I think that would be a good idea. So I'll tell you what, we'll go construction. That's the first thing we'll build. So that we can start training the king in the druidic arts. So army-wise, what have we got? We've got chariots, of course. We are the Britons, are we not? Inspires nearby troops, special attack, can't hide, good stamina, British chariots. Oh, and it even tells you how to pronounce it as well down here. I love it. Carbantoi. Carbantoi, that's how you pronounce it, apparently. Chariots. Place your ear to the ground. Do you hear that? As if Tyrannus himself has descended from the heavens, the earth trembles. Carbantoi come. And then it's got a history bit here as well. Although chariots had formerly been a feature of Keltoi warfare, with Romani sources attesting to their use at the battles of Sentinum in 295 BC and Telamon in 225 BC, they appear to have ceased to be used in battle by the 2nd century BC, although nobles such as the Arverni king Luernios are recorded as having used them during his time. This time as they continued to appear in Treveroi burials and on Remoi coinage in the 1st century BC. Only in Britain did they continue to be a feature of warfare, with their use being attested to among a variety of peoples, including the southern coalition of Cassivelaunos, the Iceni, and the Trinovantes followers of Boudica, and the Brigantes and the Caledonioi confederacy under the command of Calgacos. Caesar was sufficiently impressed with the British chariots that he recorded their abilities in detail, and it has a direct quote from Caesar himself. Their mode of fighting with their chariots is this. Firstly, they drive about in all directions and throw their weapons and generally break the ranks of the enemy with the very dread of their horses and the noise of their wheels. And when they have worked themselves in between the troops of horse, leap from their chariots and engage on foot. The charioteers in the meantime withdraw some little distance from the battle, and so place themselves with the chariots that if their masters are overpowered by the number of the enemy, they may have a ready retreat to their own troops. Thus they display in battle the speed of horse together with the firmness of infantry, and by daily practice and exercise attain to such ability that they are accustomed, even on a declining and steep place, to check their horses at full speed and manage and turn them in an instant, and run along the pole, the middle bit there, in between the two horses, and stand on the yoke, and thence betake themselves with the greatest swiftness to their chariots again. Archaeological evidence for the existence of chariots in Iron Age Britain is plentiful. Complete chariots or two-wheeled carts have been recovered primarily from the Arras culture of Eastern Yorkshire, but also as an isolated example from Newbridge, 10 kilometres west of Edinburgh. So on and so on and so forth. See, I mean, like, this mod is an education, guys. Like, you learn shit from playing this. DEI could have used a little blurb on how to sound out the names. Yeah, I know, right? DEI doesn't, to my knowledge, have a lot going on in the unit description department. It's one of the things that sets EB apart. So, yeah, we're going to attack these guys, I think. I'll march you right over here. We're going to preview in battle. One thing that I want to show to you guys as well is that the EB2 does one of my favorite things of all time that mods do, and that is it comes with a manual, which I'm going to show to you here if I can find it. Here we go, the player's guide. Brilliant. So EB2 has a manual, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful. It's a really nicely put together one too. It's very, very swish, very polished. It's the running theme in the mod, really. Starting a campaign, EB2 basics. Explains to you what the differences are between the vanilla game and EB2. For example, castles aren't a thing in EB2. They actually repurpose the castle game mechanic to use them as nomadic camps for the nomad factions, in case you were curious. We have government types and stuff like that, client rulers, authority, loyalty, buildings, settlements, governments, province descriptions, land types, pastoral regions. The campaign map, it has the raiding mechanic. You can send your army over into an enemy territory, and if you leave it in enemy territory standing still for an entire turn, you'll create a devastation tile on the map, and you will actually have money added to your treasury as a result of it. And your troops will also replenish their supplies, because there's a supply system for all your armies in this as well. So raiding is a thing you can do, although it depends on the size of your faction. Only small factions, if I recall, can do raiding and actually get a money benefit from it. Larger factions can still raid, but they don't get the money from it. They only get the supplies. We got culture, which replaces the religion mechanic. Army supplies, seasons, navies, the battle map, brief overview of the different types of units, and then we've got faction guides. If we scribble on down to the Britons, find out what's relevant to us. If I go faction guide, just find it in the list. Here we go, Pritanoi, here we are. The inhabitants of southern Britain refer to themselves collectively as the Pritanoi. Although they had much in common with the Keltoi of Gaul, the Pritanoi did not consider themselves to be Celts. Indeed, their culture was a distinct one, having developed from earlier Bronze Age traditions, albeit with significant influences from the continent. By the 1st century BC, the Pritanoi had formed into a variety of powerful kingdoms, some of which enjoyed considerable success in resisting Rome. So government types. Military occupation at the start when you take over a place, then you can go protectorate, tribal community, continental governments, allied city, migration, large tribal community, all with the different benefits and things like that. Once you get past a certain point, you get like a reforms type of thing here. A kingdom arises. If you have 4 shipyards, 2 level 3 markets, 3 level 3 temples, and you recruit 10 cavalry units, this reform kicks off and you can form petty kingdoms. Society stuff. Gurnos is your faction leader. Magalos is your faction heir. A protector is a governor of a protectorate of an allied city. Fame and feasting. Once a tutoretbrabenos, whatever that is, proves himself as a king Etos, they're able to partake in great feasts and mingle with the greatest heroes of their time. Eligible for feasting is a thing. Then you've got the 3rd circle, the 2nd circle, premier circle, which circle of importance you're in when you're at the feast. Defeat is a big problem for these guys. Never should they be caught fleeing the battlefield, for the eternal shame will haunt them for the rest of their life. Defeated King Etos will have -5 command, -1 confidence, -4 influence, -3 troop morale, -4 authority, -5 personal security, -10 bodyguard size. Yeah, if one of your faction characters routs in a battle, you might as well just get him to commit suicide by spearman, because there's no point keeping him around after that point. Mercenaries. Your warriors will ask permission to go abroad into mercenary service in return for a share of their loot. Likewise, a tutor Trebenos may himself go on a mercenary adventure. A King Etos. This is like your sort of career path for your leaders and all that sort of thing. Start off as a Euantus, a youth, which gives them -3 command, -2 influence, -1 troop morale, but a little bit of extra movement. The time has come for this young man to prove himself as a warrior. He must leave his community behind and demonstrate his battle prowess. To begin, leave the settlement, venture forth, and you can either travel around your lands by expending movement points, enter enemy lands with factions that are at war with you, or become a mercenary via mercenary adventures. You can then train through that to become a King Etos. Expend movement points. It tells you all the things you need to do in order to do that. And then the outcome of that will be either you end up being a weak King Etos, a regular King Etos, or an Epas, a revered and respected warrior. If he's under age 36, any King Etos may improve his reputation all the way up to Epas by leading armies in raiding enemy lands, attacking their armies, winning heroic victories, conquering their settlements, and killing enemies in the thick of battle. Crushing his enemies, seeing them driven before them, and hearing the lamentation of their women, etc., etc. Mercenary adventurers join the warriors of Gaul for fame and glory. Under age 30, stay 1 year in the following settlements to gain the Amossos trait. You can only be a mercenary once. Gallic mercenary adventurers will cease if the Pritanoi control the Aedui and Aruanoi home provinces of that place and that place. So if you want to become a Gallic mercenary, if you're under 30 years old, stay for 1 entire year in either Maidunon or Durawernon, and your dude can go off and become a mercenary. You get the Amossos trait, then you get recruited, serving abroad as a mercenary for 5 years. Any Euantos will gain a King Etos status when he returns. So that's another alternative way of becoming a King Etos. So on and so on and so forth. Then you've got the Druid stuff, Druidic training, that's all that we've touched on briefly earlier. Tribal education. And then it moves on to the next faction. So yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Loads and buckets, basically, of role-playing shit to mess around with. As you can probably imagine, this is fantastic if you're into your AAR writing, or if you're into making like narratively focused Let's Plays, for instance. Which is why I became like this close to doing a Let's Play of EB2 instead of DEI. Because of all of this stuff. You can all the different stories and stuff you could come up with the different characters and all the adventures they go on is just marvelous, and it's different for all the different factions as well. All the other factions have other shit going on. The Romans, for example, have senatorial elections and stuff like that. You can do your different Roman characters can pursue a career in the Senate and rise through the ranks and all that stuff. We'll get to that when I switch to the Romans later. However, for now, I'm gonna drop a save and we're gonna go. I'm gonna go kill some dudes. Oh, he's retreated into his town. What a coward. All right, we're gonna lay siege to the Trinovantes' capital at Duro-Wernon. You bastards! They got a Yalas enclosing wall. I think that's like a palisade. I don't think we need ladders and siege towers first. I think we can just get away with battering rams. It's gonna be a slog though. They've got like a full stack of dudes in there. Yeah, including 2 main characters with their bodyguards. Markarkoi. They've got bodyguard cavalry. I think our guys are bodyguard infantry. Yeah. Our faction has heavy infantry. Bodyguards. So they can only put up a fight for 4 turns though, so we might end up waiting it out and then fighting them when they sally forth. Let's send our spy up here to have a poke around up north, see what's going on. See what the Dumnonians are up to. What kind of... Yeah, you've got Markarkoi bodyguard as well. We seem to be an outlier in that regard. Most of the other tribes around Britain seem to have cavalry bodyguards. We have infantry ones. You should do a narrative Let's Play this one too. Man, only so many hours in the day, you know. I'd love to. In fact, I probably will someday. It's just, there's so many damn Total War mods that I want to play. And not enough goddamn time. Not enough hours in the day, let alone not enough years in my life, I think, honestly. Oh, the other problem is I don't know necessarily how many people would watch an EB2 Let's Play. I'm not sure how popular it is. But, you know, let's have our diplomat here bugger off and try and find some people to get trade agreements with in the meantime. Alright, enter. In their latest version, I think version 2.4 of this mod, and EB2 is still in active development, even though it is a little bit slow these days. But in the latest version of the mod, they've definitely sped up the end turn times. One of the downsides of this mod is that the end turn times used to take friggin' ages, but I think they've done some script optimizations now, and it goes by a lot faster than it used to, although I think the first couple of turns will probably still be a bit lengthy. EB2 isn't a fast mod. You're on turn 17, Rome is still faffing around in Italy. And you've got 5 new settlements since the start. Yeah, it's a really slow mod. Arguably a little bit too slow. One criticism I've seen leveled at EB2, and I think it's valid, is that the main factions struggle when under the AI control. They struggle to expand, especially early on, because you know all the rebel factions nearby are all quite powerful. They have large armies. In the current Roman campaign I'm doing, for example, I've watched Carthage repeatedly try to take out Syracuse, and they just fail repeatedly. In fact, Carthage tried to attack Syracuse and got their asses kicked, and then the Greeks tried it as well, and they got their asses kicked too. Like the rebel settlements are so powerful, they have such good starting armies that unfortunately the AI factions have a little bit of difficulty expanding. I don't know if there's an easy fix to that. The interesting thing is that the first EB1 for Rome Total War didn't really have that problem. EB1 for Rome Total War had a lot more aggression from the main factions, shall we say. But it also lacks a ton of features that EB2 has because it's on the Medieval 2 engine, so... Please note the information is very important. During every update, you should be sure to check that it's not changed. The game may hang for a minute or even several minutes while a faction hoards. A treat for those who want to make screenshots, whether for pleasure or for their after-action reports. By pressing the scroll lock key, the interface disappears. After the screenshot's been taken, just press scroll lock again and the interface will return. Oh, we get the year in history announcements, which is nice. So, additional history lessons, should you wish to read them. You can find out what was happening in this year in around the world in real life. Kind of like the ones we get in Insularis Draco, actually. And I think DEI does this as well, but EB was the first. Faction announcements. Margarix is a member of the Popular Assembly. Margarix is also a member of the Military Assembly. Sextantios is a member of the Popular Assembly. And the King is a member of the Popular Assembly as well. These must be some sort of faction politics type thing going on. Member of the Popular Assembly. Of an age to bear weapons, this man can go to the Popular Assembly of his people. Historically, this type of assembly was mentioned by Caesar for the Aedui people by the name of Concilium Haeduorum. The word concilium refers in Latin vocabulary to the Popular Assembly that were the comices, centuriates, and tributes. Besides, the EB2 case, we can infer from Caesar's writings that this type of institution existed also for other peoples like the Arverni, the Bellovaci, and the Eburones. These assemblies were the only place, except in the Senate, where it was allowed to speak of public policy and politics. Yeah, interesting stuff. So he's a member of the Popular Assembly, but Margarix is also a member of the Military Assembly, it said, I think? As an epass, this man attends the Military Assembly each time it's called. Also mentioned by Caesar. So it's an shared type of assembly. This type of assembly is a shared institution for all the Gaulish peoples. In those assemblies, the main officers, nobles, and chieftains discuss the military strategy and take decisions about it. Interesting. But he's also part of the Popular Assembly as well. Whatever happened to the Popular Front, Jeff? He's over there. Splitters. Right, 3 turns until those guys either starve or give up or try to fight us. We are building our little druidic grove thing, our learning place, our little school for our potential future druids. The other buildings we've got available are some fields, cultivated fields, river ports, a road, strategic fortifications, a field of games, a sanctuary of Ambaxtonos. Looks like, yeah, some sort of religious thing. It's like a temple, isn't it? Today we invoke the blessings of Ambaxtonos, the great ploughman. To be celebrating by eating a ploughman's lunch. That would have been marvellous. The strategic fortifications are probably important, because if this faction's building tree works like the Roman one, then this strategic fortifications building is actually probably a requirement for a lot of other subsequent buildings. But we'll worry about that later. I'm mostly working on our little druid school for now, because I think that's cool and I want it. Alright, you can keep scouting up to the north. See what else is going on out there. What are the Brigantes up to? There's the Caledonians all the way up there. At least the events here aren't as Duma-coded as the ones you get as the Romans in Insularis Draco, yeah? Yeah, not quite as apocalyptic, eh? We've actually got a free unit slot here. We could hire a new mercenary unit if we wanted to. What do we got? British Retainer Swordsman, British Retainer Spearmen, Mercenary Celtic Cavalry, British Raiders, Mercenary Celtic Swordsman, Celtic Spearmen, Armorican Tribesmen. What would be the best bang for our buck? Especially considering we've got a slightly brutal siege battle coming up, potentially. Who could we send into the breach to soak up a lot of the damage? These guys look decent. The Mercenary Celtic Swordsman. Defense 17, Armor 3, Melee Attack 11. They obviously seem to have javelins of some sort. They cost 231 upkeep. These guys are a bit cheaper, but of similar quality. We've already got a couple of units of them actually, and they don't cost any more or less than our current ones. In the initial recruitment cost is lower, but the mercenaries don't have any more upkeep than the regular versions, which is interesting to note. I tell you what, we'll recruit some of these guys. How is this pronounced? Batoroi combatants. They have a different name. Pritanoi. Mercenary Celtic Swordsman, basically. Probably quite a ubiquitous unit right across the continent, actually. But we'll hire you, and we'll probably send you in to die first. The names are different! Run forever! Trash mod! Yeah, I guess they probably updated the name for the unit at some point, but didn't update the description. Because occasionally the mod does get updates like that, and usually they are for historical accuracy reasons. Like, you know, new research has revealed something, and they end up changing something in the mod to reflect that, which is kind of nice. But, yeah. You've got to update the description, guys. You've got to update the description. What's that about? What's going on? 0 out of 10. What's happening? I forgot to move my diplomat. Oops. trying to remember which random corner of Darkest Gaul we can find the Arverni and the Aedui, so we can get some trade rights with them. Just like real life Syracuse. Oh, yeah, because, yeah. It is, it's weird, because I like it from a player perspective, having those quite powerful minor factions dotted all around you. I think that's quite cool. But the side effect of it is that it does make life very difficult for the AI factions. So it's a bit of a shame. But it's a balancing act, because if you make those minor factions weaker, it possibly makes the game too easy for the player. And the other thing about these minor factions is they're not very aggressive. In fact, they will literally never attack you. They'll never come into your territory and attack any of your towns. They're extremely passive, which can also make the game a little bit too easy. But I think on the flip side, if you made them more aggressive, the AI factions would probably get their asses kicked, and they would just start disappearing from the map. So there doesn't seem to be an easy solution to that problem. Raiding. This message is appearing because your army is devastating an enemy tile. We're raiding while laying siege. Interesting. Okay. This represents raiding by your troops and will net you a small amount of income for each tile you devastate. It takes a full turn without moving to devastate a tile. The turn you move to the tile doesn't count. The tile will blacken underneath the stack during the devastating. Note, you must move your army to a different tile in order to collect this sum again. You will only receive this notification once, and should your faction grow beyond 10 settlements or convert to Eastern Imperial culture, income from raiding will cease. Okay. I imagine our finances are not looking good. No, they're not. And they will continue to not look good until we take another settlement, I think. Our army is a bit big for what we're trying to support here. Never mind, we're going to have to go into debt a little bit, it looks like. And then slowly climb our way back out of it. But, yeah, like, ordinarily leaving my capital open like this to this rebel general would be a bad idea, but I just know from experience playing EB2 that this guy will never come and attack me. He just won't. The minor factions are not programmed to attack the player like that, unfortunately. Women have any sort of role in this model like princesses, or they're entirely gone? No, yeah, the princess mechanic from Medieval 2 is removed because it just didn't really fit the time period. So you don't have that in the game. They're basically the women in the mod basically just work like they did in Rome Total War. Essentially, they're characters on the family tree, and that's about it. So it's kind of a shame. It's one thing that Rome 2 definitely does better, but never mind. All right, enter. Not a lot to do early on as a small faction, unfortunately. Probably depends on what the player wants. I've seen Syracuse destroy Carthage in Rome too. I'm trying to think what you're referring to there. Never mind. As in minor faction expanding. Yeah, but that's a completely different game, dude. That's not Medieval 2 we're talking about, that's Rome 2, so totally different kettle of fish. Syracuse isn't really a minor faction in Rome 2 either, they're playable. When I'm talking about minor factions in this, I'm talking about the rebel faction, the Eleutheroi things. Essentially these rebel towns all over the map. That's the year in history. We've got a notification up here. What's that about? Winter. Time to muster armies. Just as nature takes rest in winter and prepares for the next year, so are soldiers resting in their quarters and preparing for the next campaign season. In EB2, recruitment slots are fairly limited throughout the year, but this is offset in winter when more recruitment slots are open so that armies for the next campaigning seasons can be mustered. Yep. Writing in Celtic. Greetings, EB2 player. This message has been written to help all those who have selected to play as one of the following factions. If you have not already noticed, the names of these factions appear in game as Aedui, Aruanoi, Iroquois, and Pritanoi. The reason for this, as well as numerous other spellings related to these factions, is something we'd like to briefly explain to you here so as to avoid confusion. The EB team prides itself on providing players with as historically accurate and immersive experience as possible. To this end, we've written the names pertaining to these factions in a manner which they would have likely have been spelled and pronounced at the time. All of these factions spoke what today we call Celtic languages. In fact, we only began to call them this in AD 1707. They represent the most westerly of the Indo-European languages, and are sufficiently closely related that we consider them to be a subgroup of Indo-European. As with any group of languages, there are numerous dialects such as Gallic, Belgic, Noric, and Lepontic. Indeed, today such dialects have given rise to the modern languages of Welsh, Irish, Scots Gaelic, Breton, and the recently extinct yet resurrected Manx and Cornish. However, for the sake of... oh god. So on and so forth, basically. It's explaining how it's pronounced and whatnot. Stuff about how the Celts wrote a lot of their language using the Latin and Greek alphabets, which allows us to guess at how they might have been pronounced and stuff like that, you know. Cool beans. So if we right-click on you, we can see that it's winter now, winter campaigning. Historically, there are seasons for campaigning. This varied depending on climate and custom. Winter was usually not a time for armies to be on the march or for fleets to sail, forage being scarce and weather being uncooperative. As a result, this man's movement is restricted until spring and the beginning of the next campaigning season, so minus 40% movement during the winter. It applies to ships as well. And also there's a chance, if you do decide to sail the fleet out of port in winter, there's a chance that it can get wrecked by a storm as well, so you want to watch out for that. It feels almost a shame to put so much work into a game as simplistic and dumb as Medieval 2. I get what you're saying. I feel offended on behalf of one of my favorite games, because I love Medieval 2 to bits, but there is a sense with this mod that the modders are definitely bumping up against the absolute limits of what you can friggin' do with the Medieval 2 engine, and you just wish that they could, you know, like, get access to the source code and then start going truly nuts with it. But sadly, I don't think that'll ever happen, so... It's amazing what they have managed to achieve within the confines of the Medieval 2 engine, though, frankly. It's bonkers. Problem is, it's difficult to find another game that you could use as a base for a similar kind of mod. Like, some people would say, oh, what about, you know, Imperator Rome? Well, Imperator Rome is great and all, but it doesn't have real-time battles. So... there are other things you can play as well. It's like, what's that that map-based war game, that quite obscure one? Alea Iacta Est, or whatever it's called, the one based on like where you play historical Roman campaigns and whatnot on a map. It doesn't have real-time battles or anything, but that's another one. And then there's Field of Glory Empires as well, I suppose, with turn-based battles. Only Medieval 2 mods seem to have so much lore and story addition. I mean, there are a lot of Rome Total War mods that had it too, but Medieval 2 in particular. The modding scene for Medieval 2 is an order of magnitude bigger than any other Total War game that's ever been made, frankly. It's crazy. Some guys are actually working on a mod to cram Imperator Rome and Mountain Blade together in the same way they did for C. Why Mountain Blade, though? It's like the classical period is an era of absolutely massive battles. Why on earth would you go for Mountain Blade, which has tiny battles? That seems very weird to me, but alright, whatever. I mean, no disrespect or anything, like, good luck, hope it works out well and all that, but Mountain Blade? That would not have been my first choice as a battle engine. I need to try that one that links up CK3 with I think, is it Attila it uses? That mod? Medieval Kingdoms 1212 for Attila. That's what they used to do the battles for CK3 with that mod. I need to give that a try at some point. Hopefully it's not too much of a faff to use. Ooh, yeah, they're going to sally for. We're going to have a little battle in the snow. All right, balance of power slightly in our favour, it looks like. I think they've taken some attrition casualties. Still, it's going to be a big one. Oh, I love the loading screen art in this mod, by the way. Some Ptolemaics and some Seleucids having a fight. And there's a Galatian mercenary. Alright, cool. I need to run up free cam so I can... No, not Disney fucking Plus. Oh my god, go there's a quality misclick. That's my finest today, I think. Jesus. Alright, here we go. Drop the rams. You'll note, by the way, unique custom models for the rams appropriate to our faction. Really nice. It's not the vanilla Medieval 2 rams. Okay. Oh, Christ. Right. Our troops. All of you guys. Just form you up into a line. Oh, and there's you as well. Well, I guess we'll have these mercs in reserve for now. We've got the two characters. We've got the chariots somewhere out here. We've got some cavalry. And then we've got the skirmishers who are already doing their thing. Chucking some javelins. Oh, unique. There are unique animations for javelin throwing in this, by the way. Look, they do a little run forward and then they chuck them. Oh, and those weird trumpet sound effects you're hearing, by the way, that's a Carnix. I think I've talked about these before in the YouTube series that we did for Rome 2, but I'm trying to see if we can find an example of one around here somewhere. Oh yeah, lots of javelin throwing going on. Can I find a Carnix somewhere? You've got a little horse on a stick. Has anyone got a Carnix? I want to show the people a Carnix. Someone must have a Carnix. This guy's got a... Yeah, this guy here, he's got one. Right, this dude. This dude right here. Oh yeah, by the way, you can do scroll lock if you want to go all cinematic mode. First of all, amazing helmet. Like, holy shit, look at that thing. Second of all, he's got a Carnix, which is this goofy looking thing. It's like, it's a big, like, brass or bronze, like, trumpety thing. Essentially, the mouthpiece is on the bottom there. And you hold it up in the air, and then you toot into it. And according to the ancient Roman sources like Polybius, these things made an absolutely dismal fucking racket, they did. They sounded just atrocious. And they do sound pretty fucking atrocious in the game as well, so... Anyone remember those vuvuzelas from, like, the 2008 World Cup? I'm getting similar vibes from the Carnix. Lots of javelin chucking today, apparently. Right, I'm just going to hit the button here so we can... Wow. Okay, it's quite a big battle, isn't it? Where are my cavalry? Let's get you out there. And then there's my chariots. Oh, heck yeah. Chariots. There they are. And yeah, you got the guys balancing up on the front. On the yoke. Which is just fucking bananas to me. Like I said, I stood on a replica of one of these chariots, and they're quite small when you're actually stood on them. And God knows how you manage to balance on it without years of practice. These guys must have been ridiculously skilled. Let's make sure in skirmish mode, and yeah, you just come up here and chuck some javelins at people. Some more skirmishes here. Alright, let's get you guys moving around the flanks. Where are my general dudes? Here they are. The king, I think he needs to get stuck in. He needs to prove his worth. At least we need to get him in combat for a little bit. Just need to make extra sure he doesn't flip and rout, because he's absolutely screwed if that happens. Right, those guys are routing. Alright, get stuck in, boys. You're like the king's bodyguard with all the Gucci gear. You do your thing. Alright. You guys. Everybody pile in on the flanks here as well. No, don't pick up the ram. Don't pick up the ram. Disregard that order. Do not pick up the fucking ram. Right, everything's going over here. Oh no, my chariots! Oh, fucking medieval 2 skirmish mode. Why do I put my faith in it? It's not even turned on. Get out of there! My poor chariots have been wrecked! I'm gonna have to recruit some more. Ah. Chariots proving to be about as useful as they are as a chocolate fucking teapot as usual, just like in Rome 2. Oh, Jesus. Why are you not in skirmish mode, guys? Why? Alright, we've got going over here. We've got a mess going on over here, that's what we've got. We're just chasing half the enemy army back into town, and the other half of it is coming out of the town to fight us. The king is in the middle of this mess here somewhere. We're all just piling in through the gate. Someone should probably grab a ram and make a new hole in the wall. You guys, go do it. Although, actually, I think you need to help out with this, because we've got some skirmishers here who are currently fighting a little bit of a losing battle. Looks like a proper mess. Celtic warfare, man. We ain't no stinking Romans. Discipline? That's a dirty word here. Not even Celtic warfare, it's ancient Britons. We're like Celts, but even less disciplined. We still use chariots. Like a bunch of savages. Alright, pile in, everybody. I love the little banners and stuff as well, by the way. Could be worse, could be northerners. Yeah. Those damn Brigantians. Pox on them. What's going on over here? You guys are chasing them. You guys throw some javelins at these gits who refuse to run away. Same with you. Are these slingers? Yeah, you are slingers. Who have fancy animations as well, which are I've got to admit are definitely better than the glitchy ones in what's it called? In Solaris Draco. The slingers in that mod look a little bit strange. You guys just getting pelted, aren't you? Right, a bit of a mosh pit seems to have formed here. Let's see, you guys. What's this? You're the king's brother, aren't you? Right, you need to go fetch a battering ram. You guys can get this one as well, actually. Where are the mercenaries I hired? They're stuck in the middle of things up at the front, aren't they? Somewhere. They're in the middle of this mess. Yeah, we need to flank and get around them. You aren't seeing it to its fullest extent right now because of the winter landscape and everything being snowy as well, but the battle maps are totally different from vanilla Medieval 2 in this. There's like different brand new models and textures for all the trees and like the grass and the general environment and stuff like that, so the battles don't even the battle environments don't look like Medieval 2 anymore. Wow, Jesus, I'm getting my frame rate suffering at the minute. It's probably just because I'm streaming. Normally it's fine. Right, you guys got the ram. All right, make a hole around here. You guys go and get this ram. But speed up, come on, chop chop. Come on, lads. Yeah, you too, Carnix dude at the back there. No time for all that trumpet farting. We've got work to do. The Romans fan, I would like to stop at 4 PM for tea. I love that. I love that. Which one was it? It's I don't remember what the name of the story was. The one where Asterix and Obelix go to Britannia. and the Britons haven't discovered tea yet, so they just drink hot water instead. They don't have tea breaks, they have hot water breaks. Hello, Queen of the Silence, how you doing? 70 months of subbage. Welcome back. It's just Asterix in Britain. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was funny, that one. Oh, I think one of their characters just got absolutely javelin to death right there as he was trying to flee back into town. Maudemoros, enemy general fallen. I was having fish and chips without chips. I know! They just had fish. You wouldn't have a chippy, would you? You'd have a fishy. You'd go down the fishy on a Friday. Unbelievable. Alright, we're just pouring in now. The mob is making its way into town. Yeah, and unique settlement buildings and stuff like that. We've got all these lovely little huts and stuff. These Iron Age buildings in the settlement. And they're not just ported over from, like, Rome either. They're custom made for the mod. These aren't the barbarian buildings from Rome Total War. They're brand new. High detail and all that. Probably historically accurate as heck as well. I just love the battering rams. I forgot about the unique battering ram models in this. Where's my dude? Where's I think it's you here with the amazing helmet. That's the king's brother. This dude in front with the big icon thing. I don't even know what that is. Some sort of religious symbol, obviously. And then they've got the Carnix guy out in front. Love the spiky hair, by the way. And the woad. Which sets them apart from the Gauls, because the Gauls didn't have woad. They didn't wear like face paint and body paint and all that. With the tattoos, etc. They didn't do that. The Britons did, though. I mean, it's been like over 2,000 years. Not much has changed on the island of Britain in that regard, actually. People are still walking around with their shirts off and lots of tattoos on show in this country. How the heck did you guys get around here? I didn't even order you to do that, but well done for showing some initiative, I guess. Let's see if we can get anybody else around there as well. Did you guys go all the way around here? Like, what did you do? We haven't even knocked down the walls yet. Are you guys winning at least? You're not, are you? It just says defeat seems certain. That's not great. You're a little outnumbered, admittedly. Beautiful incredibly detailed units and stuff in this mod. Obviously, it kind of goes without saying. They speak for themselves, but this is the bit here which is killing my frame rate, this fight over here. Whoa! Menu went a bit weird there. I don't know about anything about the Attila Lord of the Rings mod. Yeah, apparently, yeah, I don't know what the latest is on that, but I know they found out a way to edit the Attila map finally, so they actually can start making a campaign for it. No idea when that's due to be released in a playable state, though. It's currently still pretty much a multiplayer only thing as a result. Oh, I've got some cavalry in the town centre as well. Let's give him a cav. Speed things up a bit. The battles are long in this game, and the siege battles are ridiculously long sometimes. Thankfully, time compression will fix that. These guys are holding out. They are exhausted, though. You guys are fresh, though. Oh, hello. Balls down, finally. Alright, let's, this is the king's brother, whose name I've forgotten. But we'll get him into the back of these guys. Give the Ambactor a hand. Give him a bit of an assist. Oh, have you guys got dyed blue hair as well? It takes me back to reading horrible histories as a kid, that does. Yeah, that's tipped the balance. These guys look, apparently they're going to win now. The king himself is fucking in this mess somewhere. He's in the middle of this mosh pit. In fact, that's him there, I think. Possibly. He looks a bit more well-dressed than the others. He's also wearing some chainmail, unlike pretty much everybody else, so... I want to say that's the king right there. I think that's his brother right there getting repeatedly stabbed in the face. Not sure how I feel about that. Maybe we should withdraw slightly. Don't need to lose a character this early on in the campaign, especially when we've only got 3 of them. Oh yeah, you're right, he probably is the same model, isn't he? So it wasn't that guy. He's somewhere else. Where's the king? Looking for a helmet with horns on it. I'm playing Where's Wally there, except even more difficult. A bleeding clue. Right, you are no longer getting repeatedly stabbed in the face. You're covered in blood, so I was getting a little worried there. You're nice and safe at the back now. Every cutscene's going to make me nervous. Yeah, pretty much. Right, yeah, you guys... You kind of need to go going for a long jog all the way around this way, but... Yeah, you're going to flank around from the rear. Luckily, you're not exactly wearing a lot, are you? So, you know, You shouldn't get too tired out. It's not like you're running in chainmail, is it? Or even a particularly heavy shirt for most of you. Have we got anybody outside we could bring in as well? Everybody left outside is just skirmishers, aren't there? I suppose it's these guys, light infantry. Because we've got this main traffic jam, which is not very efficient. And then we got this. Barefoot and bare-chested, still heavy infantry. Yeah, I guess they're heavy infantry by ancient Britain standards. Some of them have helmets, that makes them heavy infantry. You mean henge infantry? Yeah, they're just jacked. That's what makes them heavy infantry. Been taking their creatine supplements. Charge! Love this dude, big gold shield. Alright, well, these guys finished off, no problem very soon. They're dead men walking and they don't even realize it. In fact, do we now control the town square? I think that's what that timer is. Oh yeah, the enemy's got like virtually nobody left. It's harder to get good cinematic shots in Medieval 2 compared to Rome 2. That's another reason why I decided to do Rome 2 on the channel instead of EB2. It's because it's easier to make cool cutscenes in Rome 2. Love all the bling these guys have got there, with the torques and all the jewellery and whatnot. Look at those swords. Look how detailed the little sword models are and whatnot. I'm noticing that this dude has two swords. He's got one at the moment, he's got another one in the scabbard. Dude has a backup sword. Alright, looks like we killed all of these guys. Like, there's one guy left. Heroic last stand of that dude with the top knot. And they got him. Wasn't quite a Wilhelm scream, but almost. Right, that's it. We've won, I think. 649 men lost. Well, that'll help the treasury at least. Fewer mouths to feed. We've had quite a lot of casualties healed, to be fair. Who got the most kills? Always the most important question. Looks like this unit van back, so I got 176 kills. Oh, no. This unit here. 206. Holy moly. Right, shame about the chariots, though. We lost most of them. Through my own negligence, mostly, really. I'd like to put the blame at the feet of the skirmish mechanic in this game being rubbish, but I knew that going in, so I probably should have paid closer attention.
Booticos!
I don't know what you just said, dude, but I agree with it. Alright, well, occupy, sack, or enslave. Let's sack it, just to be historically authentic. There are some victory conditions or like reform conditions for some factions that actually require you to sack cities. I think I remember that being a thing. For some factions, in order to get their reforms, they got to actually do some sacking. Might even be for this faction, actually. And also, I think, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a mechanic as well whereby if you don't sack settlements often enough, your troops start to get annoyed with you because you're not sharing any of the loot with them. Although that might have been a stainless steel thing, but there's a lot of crossover. Like, there's a lot of, like, trait mechanics that's shared by different mods. So sometimes I lose track of which one's in which mod. Stainless steel and EB2 have a lot of crossover when it comes to the traits. Coming of age, Dorgos. Eligible as a Geistlos. Enemy camp captured. Alright, cool. Somebody came of age. It's you, Dorgos. Age 16 with a magnificent moustache. Only 3 loyalty. That's not very good. His stats are terrible. Let's see then. So he... Apparently he's welcoming to foreigners. Fond of ribald rhymes. In the pink. He's a resilient constitution. Illness and injury rarely seem to trouble him for long. He's a youth. This unproven King Etos, this young fighter, is still not a worthy warrior in the eyes of his kin and folk. To prove himself, he must leave his mother's hut far behind, lodging either outside his people's settlements or even in the enemy's lands by the end of the season. Only then will he begin to progress from being a barking pup to a ferocious wolf. Although how well the wolf will hunt remains to be seen. To begin his training as a King Ertos, this character should not end his turn inside a settlement and exhaust the bulk of his movement points if he plans to stay inside friendly territory. If he plans to leave friendly territory, simply ending his turn inside enemy territory will also begin his training. -3 command, -1 morale for all troops in the battlefield, -2 influence. Yeah, so if you do put this guy in charge of an army in an emergency, he's going to have a negative effect on the troops' morale because they're being led by a kid, essentially. And they don't particularly appreciate that. He's also eligible as a Geistlos, or political hostage. This character is young enough to be traded as a political hostage. This trait will disappear if the character is not advanced in this trait by the age of 20. If you wish for this man to become a political hostage, then you should send him to a settlement with an allied state or protectorate government, and leave him there until this trait advances to the next level. Alternatively, placing him in a settlement near the capitals of Rome, the Arverni, the Aedui, or Boi may result in him being used as a political hostage for these factions. When he does become a Geistlos, he will suffer a temporary movement point penalty until this trait advances, which will take about 2 years. Afterwards, he'll be free to go where he wishes. We could use him as a political hostage for this place now we've taken it over, because we'll have to set up a tributary state or a military occupation, one of the two, I think. This region's been pacified in preparation for installing a regime friendly to your cause, the first step towards establishing a client ruler who comes from the Allied State building. Alternatively, we just occupy it by force. Most basic administration over freshly acquired lands. I think because we share culture with this place, we'd probably just go for military occupation. Generally, this tributary state route, you reserve that for, like, when you're playing as Rome, for example, and you conquer, like, a Greek city with a very different culture to you. It's way better to make them a client state rather than just directly annexing them, because that way it keeps the public order way, way happier, because otherwise it's an absolute nightmare to keep on top of. So let's repair the wall we broke. I'll hike the taxes up a bit, because our money situation is not very good at the moment, it must be said. I'm going to hit M to merge, and I think I'll just disband a few of these units that are under strength. Save a bit of dosh, and recruit some more again next winter if we have to. And these mercenaries can go as well. Alright, you, Dorgos. I think, also because he's in this settlement, I think theoretically I could leave him in Maidenon and he'd become a mercenary. He could become a foreign mercenary. However, I think I'm going to go the traditional route with this fella. And we'll have him cross over into sort of Cornish territory here. He can go raiding over the border and earn his stripes that way. Right. In the meantime, hey, we found another faction finally. How you doing, guys? It's the Gauls with their awesome cavalry bodyguards. They're a different kettle of fish to us entirely, this lot. Yeah. Let's have a chat with you guys. You want trade rights? Cool. What about map info? Almost, but still just rejected. Really? Oh, fine, whatever, dude. Whatever, man. I don't care. I'll talk to the Alverni next turn. Cool. Love our Boudica, love our Carnix. 8 Romans, simple as. 8 Romans. Ain't racist, just don't like them. Love me, Boudica. Love me, druids. Perhaps we're being a bit harsh, though. Our particular Britain faction is down in the southwest. We're relatively civilized. We haven't captured Clacton yet, so give it time. Right, Dorgos. Are you doing some raiding? I don't think. Yeah, I think he has to stay. He's a member of the Popular Assembly, apparently. Gubernatos. Summer. Yeah, it's summer right now, currently. Altron. Oh yeah, there you go. Training to become a King Getos. So he's already doing that. He's in the training process. And if he stays there for an entire turn, he'll start raiding as well. Altron. Sometimes the acorn does not sprout in the shadow of the oak which created it. Sometimes it may be carried to distant forests and grow in the shade of another. Such is this man as he undergoes a period of fosterage, or Altron. In the house of his foster father, he will reside until the age of 20, and by his upbringing, he will bring the branches of his blood and foster father closer together. This man is undergoing a period of fosterage. This trait will disappear once the man has reached the age of 20. Apparently. Cool. Yeah, and he should be raiding next turn. Get the faction a little bit of extra dosh on the side, and gosh, God knows we need it right now, so yeah, get that wall repaired if we can afford it. And then we'll have to go about... At the moment, we've just got enough raw military occupation to keep the place under control, but we are going to need to set up some sort of government after a while. Aren't we? How's Margarix doing? He's still not terribly loyal. I wonder if is our leader still untested? He's still untested, unfortunately. Probably needs to fight a few more battles, doesn't he? Capture a few more settlements. Maybe even just do a bit of raiding, to be honest. Why don't you cross over to... Oh, no, actually, we control all this, don't we? Never mind, just stay there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to save this right now. Oh, come on. Britain's one. There we go. Go back to the main menu for a second. Because, as promised, I think we're going to switch over now and we're going to look at the Romans for a little bit. Assuming Galatia is also in this mod. No, it's not, actually. They're a minor faction, like you can encounter the Galatians in Anatolia if you play around in that region. So if you play as Pontus, for example, you would encounter the Galatian minor faction and be able to fight them, but they're not playable. So you can't play as Galatia in this. Galatia is sort of a slightly memey faction, because in terms of like historical significance compared to all of these factions, they were a bit like they didn't really do much. They settled in the center of Anatolia and they stayed there for like 1,000 years and didn't achieve much really in real life. So, in Medieval 2, you have a very limited number of faction slots you can include in a mod, and so Galatia presumably did not seem worth including versus all of these others who are more significant. So, speaking of significant factions, though, let's load up my Roman campaign I've been doing. So I can show you a campaign that's a little bit more in progress. I believe the EB2 team is planning on adding one or more factions, but it's just hearsay. Well, the problem is you've got the faction limit, the hard-coded faction limit in Medieval 2, so there is a limit to how many you can actually include. I think every now and again over the years they have added the odd faction occasionally, but yeah, there is a limit. You can't just keep adding them forever and ever, sadly. Unless this game eventually gets the remaster treatment like Rome did, which removes the faction limit. In Rome Remastered, you don't have a faction limit anymore, which is wonderful, but I also wouldn't really want to think about the amount of work it would take to port this across to a remastered version of Medieval 2. Probably be a huge amount of work. Anyway, so here's Rome. In my current campaign, it's turn 39. I'm not sure what year it is, because it doesn't bloody say over there. I'd have to see when the next year in history pop-up comes up, but year is... Looks like, according to this, it's 263 BC. I think that's what that means, minus 263. Currently in my campaign. So it's been going for about 11 in-game years, or 39 turns. We've got northern Italy I still haven't conquered, because it's full of angry Ligurians and... what are these? Those are just generic rebels. So are they. But there's lots of angry tribesmen up in the north that I don't really feel like tangling with just yet. Although I will have to at some point if I want to get my military reforms. You do have to go up here and fight some dudes. The Romans have some interesting requirements for their military reforms. They get two sets of them. They get the Polybian reforms and then they get the Marian reforms later on after that. And in order to do it, you have to control a certain number of settlements, have a certain level of farms built up, and you have to fight a certain number of battles in northern Italy. So it's a little complicated. Anyway, in this campaign currently, I have taken Messana and Lilybium in Sicily off of the Carthaginians. I'm at war with Carthage at the minute. I'm in the middle of the First Punic War. There's a Carthaginian fleet there and there, trying to harass the Syracusans, who have so far thrown one Carthaginian army into the sea, and they've thrown a Greek army into the sea. Everyone's been trying to conquer Syracuse and failing miserably. It's been kind of funny, really. I have a number of characters. We've got Caius Aurelius Cotta over here. We've got this guy, Servius Akraigos, who is a client ruler at the moment. He's this town, Lilybium, is a Roman allied state, is what I've got it set up as, and he is a client ruler, so he's not actually a Roman. He's adopted a Roman name or what have you, but he is a client ruler. Chief magistrate ruler of this region, chosen to serve as your surrogate. While little more than a puppet ruler, his presence is required in the city at all times to maintain both civic order and a facade of independence. He's a Puno-Sical. Essentially, he's a Carthaginian Sicilio-Greek. That's his heritage. Hence the surname Akraigos. Akraigos, or whatever it is. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm building a bit of a fleet up here because there's loads of pirate fleets and stuff around here and Carthaginian fleets, and I was trying to send at one point a diplomat across to Carthage to try and get peace with them and end the First Punic War, but some pirates came along and sank my fleet, and my diplomat died. I got really salty about it, so I started building a navy. In fact, I had to recruit a new diplomat to replace the one I lost, and this guy's friggin' useless. There's Marcus Licinius Calvus here, or whatever his name is. No natural talent, tactless. Freshly recruited. He's just been recruited into your diplomatic corps. What he lacks in experience, he makes up for in enthusiasm. From here, he can learn on the job, or he can study the techniques of diplomacy in a more structured way. Training this man in a settlement with a level 1 school or better will enhance his abilities. So that's what I'm trying to do at the minute. He's just sat in Rome attending some sort of diplomatic school in an effort to improve his terrible stats. Because I do have a school in Rome at the moment. It's here somewhere. There it is. We've got a school. Also got loads of other stuff as well. Capitoline Hill. Province info about Latium. All sorts of stuff. Got the Grain Dole. Shrine of Jupiter, blah, 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 so on and so forth. At the moment, we've got senatorial elections going, which is exactly why I wanted to load up this save right now, because it was a cool way to show you one of Rome's unique mechanics, which is the whole Senate thing. This guy right here is an absolute hero. He's my favorite character in the campaign at the moment, Marcus Attilius Regulus. He's got pretty decent command, pretty good confidence, excellent loyalty, and amazing influence. He's 47 years old. And this dude, my god, this dude, he's basically single-handedly defeated Carthage in Sicily. He's amazing. He has a biography. All the historical characters at the start of the game that we have any info about, they do start off with a biography tooltip you can read. So if you want to learn about the real Marcus Attilius Regulus, there's all the info. He's middle-aged. He's a pleb. This guy, he's a pleb who has risen up to some of the highest offices in the land. He's done a full 7.5 years of military service. He is a senator. He has been a tribunus militum in the past. He's been a tribune of the plebs in the past. He's a talented leader, politician, superb administrator, firstborn, eldest child of an aristocrat. In spite of being a pleb. It's weird. Perhaps he got adopted. I'm not sure. He's a veteran. He's from the gens Attilia. It's the family he's from. Lots of info about them. Nobile. He's dull, but charismatic and vigorous. He's unselfish but pessimistic. His imperium is relinquished. So Roman characters need to have the legal authority to command an army. Otherwise, you get a bunch of penalties. In his case at the moment, even though he's a war hero, essentially, his imperium is relinquished, and he won't get it back again unless he wins a new senatorial position in the elections. This can present some logistical problems for your armies when you're playing as Rome, if you want to ensure that they're all led by people who are legally allowed to. So he's not able to legally exercise military command at the moment. He's well supplied, though. He's modest. He's a true Roman, apparently. He's a popularis, so he's one of the populares, so he's not one of the optimates. He's one of the populares like Julius Caesar was, and the Gracchi and Marius and whatnot. Victor. This man's many victories have made him popular among the masses. Continentia. He's self-controlled. He is a vanquisher of Carthaginians. By defeating them in battle, looting their cities, and binding them in the chains of slavery, this man is well on his way to defeating the hated Carthaginians. He has already had a triumph, this guy. When he took Messana, a little bit after that, he got awarded a triumph. It should be down here somewhere, I should mention it. Celebrated Triumphator, yeah. This man has celebrated his triumphus in Rome. Basically, I had a massive battle, I think 2 big field battles, and then I managed to take Messana off the Carthaginians. He won both of them. And then after we took the city, I got a notification saying that basically he's been awarded a triumph, and that if he wants to celebrate it, he has to go sail back to Rome and then end his turn in Rome. And then I did that, and he ended his turn in Rome, and he got to celebrate his triumph, which gave him that trait along with a bunch of bonuses. So he's had a triumph, which is pretty cool. At the moment, he's eligible for a consulship and a praetorship. At the moment, and it is winter, so it's campaigning season. I'm pretty sure, or it will be next turn. I think it's not actually winter yet; it's autumn, isn't it? What I need to do is to take this guy, Manius Valerius Maximus. He's actually the faction leader at the moment, but it's the Roman Republic, so you know. I need to get this guy to Rome as well, because I'm pretty sure he is eligible for a consulship and a praetorship as well. This guy's pretty good too. He's a pretty decent character. Ideally, I'd like him and Regulus to both win the consulships and be co-consuls. That'd be sick. So what I need to do is we need to move him to Rome. And if they end their turn in Rome in autumn, and they stay in Rome all winter, they are eligible to actually campaign for those positions. However, I do need to move you to Tarentum to try and keep the place under control, because Tarentum's public order is shockingly bad. It's a Greek settlement originally, so it's causing me all sorts of public order problems. It's very annoying. I need to move you there to keep Capua under control. Alright, so these 3 are now in Rome ready to campaign for office. And we've got a bunch of rebels down in the boot of Italy at the moment. I can't really do anything about them, unfortunately, because none of my generals are out down here can legally command an army. Caius Aurelius Cotta. I like this guy. He's an idiot. It's great. It even says so in a couple of places. He's unschooled, yeah. This guy, when this guy came of age, I didn't send him to a school, and so he ended up with the unschooled trait. Distrust outsiders. Autumnus is because he's autumn. Interloper, because I accidentally left him in this town after it became a client state, which gives you the interloper trait, which is not good. He's also a popularis like Regulus as well. He supports the plebs. In fact, he is a pleb. He has a little biography as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So essentially, I need one of you motherfuckers here to win office, which will give you them Imperium the right to command an army, so that they can go down here and crush this rebellion, essentially. Because at the moment, legally, none of my characters can lead an army. And if I send an army out without a character, it's a bit like an Insularis Draco. There's a chance they'll just friggin' disappear or go rogue, so you don't want to do that. I'm going to hit intern now, and stuff will start happening. Oh, it's a Greek diplomat making his way up here. Hello. Wonder where he's off to. I think I've already spoken to the Greeks. I've already got a trade deal and stuff with them. I have with most of the Mediterranean factions at this point. I've got a diplomat hanging out in Arabia right now at the moment, I think, if I recall correctly. I left them hanging out with Saba, way down in the southern end of the map. I don't even know like how beneficial it is to get trade rights with such distant factions, because I don't really know how it works. Like, presumably you need to have a land connection with a faction or a sea connection with them to actually trade with them. If it works like it does in the later games. But trade has always been a bit of a mysterious mystery to me in Medieval 2, in terms of how it actually functions. And how much money you realistically get for it. Alright, the year in history, 263 BC. Some info there about what's going on in the world. We have a little pop-up here which tells you that colonists are ready to dispatch. As the Romans, you can establish colonies overseas. In fact, I think we can set one up here in Ariminum. Ariminum, yes. Law for the creation of a colony, which essentially is how you convert a settlement's culture to your own, is by setting up colonies. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to set up a Roman colony in Ariminum and slowly start converting it to our culture. And you'll get that pop-up telling you when colonists are available. You can't do it like just any time. You can only do it when you've got available colonists to actually go and set up a colony. War declared between Bactria and the Seleucids. We've retrained one of our fleets. We've built some buildings. And Manius Valerius Maximus now has established leader, which is good. Ah, yeah, all these guys have now got candidates for the political offices. Oh, and capital's ready to upgrade. Sweet. Well, you're building a school at the moment, but we'll queue up the stone wall upgrade later. Are we number 1 at anything yet as Rome? We're number 2 on households behind the Seleucids at the moment. Overall number 5. So if we go to Rome and we look at these dudes, they should now all have an ancillary or 2. Here we go, yeah. Candidate to consulship and praetorship. He's undergoing an electoral campaign in order to be elected at consulship by the Comitia Centuriata. During this time, he must stay in Rome in order to convince the Roman citizens to vote for him. So, should be the same for you as well, Regulus, yep. And Cornelius Scipio as well. He is campaigning for praetorship and also Aedilis Curulis. So, best of luck to you all. Like I said, ideally, I'd like these two to become co-consuls. That'd be great. That'd be really good. Lucius, I don't care quite so much about. Be nice if he got to the office of praetor, though. That'd be nice. Because then he could command an army as well if he needs to. Because I think only consuls and praetors can command armies legally. So, yeah. There's nothing else happening, I don't think, for this turn, really, other than maybe building a few things. What should we build in Messana? Field of Martial Games, perhaps? Yeah, let's do that. We're building a colony up there, aren't we? Rome is building a new port. Capra's building a school. The Libyan, we're setting up an allied oligarchic state at the moment. You can go for an allied democratic state as well if you want to. It has slightly different bonuses. Went for the oligarchic one though because I thought it looked better. Yeah, we've got a Roman spy there. We've got his ships, which can't move very far because it's winter at the moment. And if they do move out into the open ocean, there's a chance they might get stuck in a storm, which is not great. What I think I might do is recruit some new ships over here in Tarentum, though. Oopsie daisy, I didn't mean to do that. Ah, shit. I just reset the construction for that. What an idiot. Misclicks for days today, apparently. What is wrong with me? Oh my god. Never mind. We'll put that one down to corruption, apparently. Making the building take longer than it should. Right. Alright, we're going to hit and turn now and wish these guys the best of luck with the elections. Oh, there's my diplomat down in darkest Arabia. Slowly making his way back up north. There we go. Aulus Caecilius Metellus down there. Somehow not dying of thirst in the middle of the Arabian desert. Poor dude. Not sure where to send him next, actually. I think I've already spoken to the Seleucids and the Nabateans, so... I guess maybe you could go talk to Armenia or Pontus or Parthia or something. Wasn't Metellus the name of the Roman bad guy in Ben-Hur? It might have been. It's been about... It's at least a couple of decades since I last watched Ben-Hur, so I don't really remember. Was it Messala? Oh. Began with an M, right? Close enough. Alright. We're the most advanced faction, hooray! Announcements. Hey, Regulus now has Imperium. Same with Maximus. And Cotta is eligible for quaestorship. Nice. Regulus is consul, and so is, yeah, it turned out exactly the way I hoped it would. Brilliant. Maximus and Regulus are co-consuls. Scipio didn't get praetorship, but he did get the office of Aedilis Curulus, which is all right. I guess that's fine. That'll do. I suppose. But the main thing is we now have 2 consuls who can legally command armies, which is fantastic news. Alright. Oh, bro, you're getting a little old, aren't you? You turned 50 and now he's looking all old on his freaking picture. Poor guy. Right, Regulus. I'm gonna have you hop on this here boat. Has my diplomat improved much? No, he hasn't. He's still useless. Tempted to just recruit a new one, honestly. Right, I'm gonna bring you down here. Would this army do here? This is not a very good army, this. It's 90% like foreign troops and mercenaries and stuff. But it might have to do, because this rebellion needs to be crushed. No, actually, we'll bring you back down here to get your usual army. I guess we'll leave the hoplite mercenaries behind as a little token garrison. Yeah, that's kept the town's pretty happy actually, because it's got a client ruler, it's got a client government set up. There aren't really no major public order issues here, which is good. In fact, we could even raise taxes a bit if we wanted to. I'll put it on high so it's not completely killing the population growth. Right, and now this army. Yes, time to crush these rebel scum. Looks like a bunch of rebel civilians. And some Lucanians as well. Uppity Italian tribesmen, essentially. Doesn't loading and unloading from ports preserve more movement points? Oh, I don't remember, honestly. Right. The trumpet track is very loud? Shouldn't be. No more than usual. I can turn the main volume down a little bit if you want me to, but... sounds normal to me. Whatever. Willing to admit I've cocked something up behind the scenes, potentially, but... usually we have the audio pretty much sorted these days. Right. Let's try and get this set up properly. So, traditionally, you have the Hastati as the front line of the army in a Roman Republican legion, and then you'd have some auxiliary troops on the flanks. Like these Samnites, for example. Then the second line is the Principes. And then the third line is the Triarii at the back. And then we probably have some extra, Samnites we can pop on the flanks there. What else? We've got the skirmishers who can go out in the front. We've got Regulus' bodyguard cavalry, which is a huge unit these days. You can sit at the back there. We've got some Lancers and some Equites who can sit out on the flank. And yeah, let's begin the battle. And where the heck did these guys go? Oh, are they trying to go and run up onto the hill? I think someone in a past stream described the medieval 2 AI as being cat-like in its determination to occupy the highest point on the map at all times. That's exactly what they're doing, aren't they? They're running straight to this hill. Right. Oh, it's raining. Right, so this is a Camillan legion, essentially. It's from the early-ish Roman Republic, after the time of Marcus Furius Camillus. So these Roman legionaries don't look a lot like the ones you probably are used to from your school textbooks. They're quite different. They've got these rounded shields, bronze helmets and breastplates and whatnot. A lot of their equipment is Greek style. The Triarii, in fact, pretty much are like equipped and fight as Greek hoplites, essentially. The Principes even, I think, still carry spears. I think the Hastati have the swords and the javelins. In fact, they've got Pilum, haven't they? Yeah. But they still mostly fight with swords, but the Principes have spears. And the Triarii are basically glorified hoplites. So they look quite different. After the Polybian reforms, they start to get the big tower shields. And then obviously after the Marian reforms, you get the Roman legionaries, you know, kind of as they were in Julius Caesar's day. But it takes a long time for you to get to those reforms in the game, because the start date is quite early, so they did not wear pants back then. Well, duh. Trouser-wearing Romans won't be around for like another 1,000 years at least. It was, yeah. I mean, you laugh, but like, genuinely, the Romans and Greeks considered it unmanly to wear trousers. They could, having bare legs was considered as a manly, Chad-like attribute. If you were covering up your legs, it was presumably because your legs weren't worth looking at. Where is old Regulus anyway? There he is. Yeah, that's Regulus. Nice shield, dude. It's kind of a cool design. Don't know what that's about, but there he is. War hero Regulus. Alright, we'll just keep marching up towards these Egypts. And then we'll probably send the skirmishers forward to try and tempt them down off the hill. Got the Centurion guy here at the front with his bronze, more like his bronze breastplate, and he's actually got an iron helmet, unlike everybody else in his unit. They've all got bronze, but he's got an iron helmet because he's the boss man. The good old times when men valued the importance of leg day. Yeah. But yes, apparently, according to the ancient Greeks and Romans, yeah, covering up your legs was a feminine thing to do. The more you know, folks. Oh, hello. Are they sending the cav forward? Oh, they're just skirmisher cav. Okay. Whoa! Oh, boy. And poor skirmishers are getting nailed. That's not good. Let's send our cavalry up on the flank, see if they react to that at all. Beards were for barbarians and women. Oh, sending some of the cav out. Run for your lives, little skirmishers! Run! See if we can get our own cav to intercept them. In fact, I think some of you guys are probably about to chuck your pelum at those horses, aren't you? Yep. Oof, that was effective. And here comes our cav. Oh yeah, you guys are about to get absolutely nailed. They're just going to charge in, aren't they? Yeah, here comes the enemy now. Hold the line, Hastati. And they're routing. And that's their general, isn't it, as well? Alright, you guys. Great job. Get over there. Ready to do some hammer and anvil stuff. You guys are chucking your javelins. I might bring Regulus and his cavalry out onto the right flank. Yeah, you run at me through the volleys of pelum if you want to. Be my guess. Ooh, point blank range, nice. Oh, these guys rallied. Well, we can't have that. Right. Let's get you guys to advance up on the flank here, straight into these stupid skirmishes and whatnot. Just kill them. Kill the bastards. Do your thing, Sam Knights. Hopefully we can kill their general pretty soon. They've sent the skirmishers into melee. They must be getting desperate. He says, as his own skirmishers are stuck in melee. Hypocrite alert! Oh, we should be able to wrap this up pretty soon. rotates what's left of them out of combat. Right, they're routing and they're running away. Regulus, I need you to deliver the death blow here, I think. In person, as is your way. Now, EB2 is one of those mods I found where the cavalry charges are way more reliable. I never seem to have any real difficulty getting cavalry to charge properly in EB2, and I don't know why. It might be because it uses slightly different custom animations for the charging. I'm not sure. But compared to Insularis Draco, for example, doing a cavalry charge in EB2 is super easy. Never have any problems with it. That thing's going up here. This skirmisher cavalry is somehow winning against lancers. Fuck knows what that's about. Alright, brilliant. You've managed to rout them. Well done. Let's get the lancers to charge into the back of them. You guys come here. Where are the last of my equites? There's only 3 of them alive. Well, you can chase those guys down for now. Regulus. You go up here. Chase, murder these skirmisher cavalry that are annoying the pants off me right now. Kill them. They're fighting to the death. They're stuck. Good. Kill them all. Are you being chased by those 3? Oh, fucking hell. Just kill them. They're 3 cavalrymen. You can take them. There's 55 of you and there's 3 of them. I don't care if they're on horses. Just get them. Just fucking get them. Kill them. Somebody please kill them. Oh, wait, hang on a minute. They've got some more skirmishers that have rallied. These guys here. Alright. Alright, my Sam Knights. You've been very good in this battle. Oh! Please tell me that was the enemy general and not mine. No! Regulus! Bro! I don't fucking believe it, really? You were killed by a skirmisher cavalryman? Oh, God, fucking hell. They're not even that good. How did you... Dude. You must deserve that, quite frankly. You and your elite senatorial bodyguard were losing to a bunch of skirmisher cav? I mean, I'm going to miss you, Regulus, but at the same time, fucking hell, dude. You had no right to lose that fight. Shame for a disparate, indeed. There we go, battle's won. At what cost? We lost a consul. And a war hero at that. And our other consul is like an old dude. This is not ideal. Oh well. Well, what are you going to do? It kind of reminds me about like that, how like Cyrus the Great allegedly was killed by a horse archer. It's kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It's just going to suck losing that 2 gold chevron unit of consular cavalry, though. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, 2 gold chevrons, man. Like, the stats for this unit are really good. How on earth was that allowed to happen? The senatorial bodyguards will be fired. Yeah, they kind of failed at their one job, didn't they, really? All things considered. I think that's the enemy mostly eliminated, to be honest. I think I'm just going to end the battle now. Unbelievable. I mean, it's a resounding victory, but somewhere in the midst of all that, Regulus managed to find the time to get his shit kicked in by a random skirmisher. You couldn't make it up. Yep. Now the Roman people are grief-stricken to hear of this man's grisly demise in battle. His bravery in the face of death has served as a final act of nobility, one that is sure to see his name etched in the annals of our history. New faction heir, Caius Aurelius Cotta. Enemy army routes. Well, there's nobody in charge of this army anymore, which is not great. Cotta, you're eligible for quaestorship, aren't you? Alright. I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll get you to Rome. So you can actually go and become a quaestor. And in the meantime, I don't think Lucius can command an army, can he? I don't think the office of Aedile gives you a... No, Imperium relinquished. But Manius Valerius Maximus, he can command an army. He is still a consul. So you're going to hop on this boat. And you are going to go take command of this army here. Oh, this fleet as well. Oh, fuck. I forgot how annoying the fleet merging mechanics are in this stupid game. I have this one random fleet of ships now that I can't do anything with. So let's go sit around in Rome or use it as a transport or something. Admiral Bodastad. Annoying rebel navy, be gone. Lovely, that's another one eradicated. It was a rebel fleet like that that sunk my ship which had my diplomat on earlier, which made me very, very annoyed. Right, you can go dock down here near Capua. I can retrain you a bit. Right, Luceria. Oh, I don't have enough dosh this turn to build anything. It's unusual, actually. Usually as Rome, I have plenty of money. And what the... Oh, for God's sake, there's another one. Ptolemaeos. Another Italic rebellion. They've got a bunch of Hastati, some Umbro-Picenian warriors. There's some sort of organized rebellion going on here at the moment, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Right, Maximus's next job is going to have to be to march all the way up to the north of Italy and take care of that nonsense, I guess. You should probably stop at Rome along the way and get a lot of this army retrained, because these guys are experienced, but they're looking a bit battered, especially the Hastati up at the front. Yeah, not great. The trumpet is back. Yes, the fucking trumpet is back. Deal with it. You guys are very picky about your game soundtracks, aren't you? If you ain't whinging about the trumpet music in this, you're whinging about the battle music in Empire. I don't know. No pleasing some people. Right. Rome 7? Yeah, 7 is what I'm on right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's 8:30. That can't be right, can it? Surely. Oh, it is 8:30. It's earlier than I thought it was. But we've been streaming for the usual amount of time, I guess. I guess we have been starting a bit later recently, so... Anyway, I feel I have more or less shown you the basic good bits of Europa Barbarorum II. So... Thanks for that. Sorry, notification on my phone. Oh. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hope you've enjoyed having a little look at EB2. I love this mod to bits. It's so good in many ways. I enjoy the battles. I enjoy the campaign mechanics. I love all the character-based role-playing shenanigans. It's all really great stuff. It's I enjoy it about as much as I do playing Rome 2. It's really hard these days to choose when I want to play a bit of classical era Total War. It's incredibly difficult to choose between EB2 and DEI for Rome 2, because they both do the same job essentially in slightly different but awesome ways. One day I might do an EB2 series on the channel, don't know, but either way, I hope you enjoyed it. We had a look at the Britons, we had a look at the Romans. But as I said, like virtually every major faction in this game is totally worth playing and has all sorts of unique, wonderful things going on for them. So you could spend years playing this mod, and indeed I already have. So, ladies and gents, that's the lot. That's the lot for today. I've been wanting to show off this mod for ages at this point, because it is one of the most technically impressive ones I've ever seen, especially for Medieval 2. It's available on ModDB. I'm pretty sure the latest version of this is on ModDB, so if you fancied giving it a try, and I recommend you do, that's where to get it. We'll be back streaming tomorrow, maybe. It depends on whether I've got time. I've got some YouTube shenanigans to get working on at the moment, so I might take a foot off the pedal a bit with the streams, especially since the Monday streams have not been getting a ton of views lately anyway, so I might stream tomorrow, we'll see. If I do, we'll probably be having a look at Regiments, the new Winds of Change DLC, and if we don't do it tomorrow, then we'll probably end up doing it next weekend instead. And I am, in the meantime, going to continue looking into getting Gothic 2 set up, because I think that's going to be our next streaming series on the channel. We did Gothic 1 a while ago, and it proved to be surprisingly popular. So Gothic 2 Night of the Raven, I think, is going to be the next main big series we do over here on Twitch. So I just need to get it set up and try and get it working on Windows 11, which is the challenging part, essentially. Because so far I've not been able to do it. I need to hunt around for some technical advice on that front. Might need to get the system pack or some sort of other alternative. There might be an alternative to the system pack these days. I don't know. According to some bloke on Reddit, which is the worst source you could attribute for anything, there's this other thing you can get instead of the system pack these days that's better for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gents, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.